Welcome to High Vibrational Mastery, where we are raising the vibration of the planet one soul at a time. My name is Meagan Michael. I am a seer, a seeker, and a visionary. And today it is my absolute pleasure and an honor to present once again to you the incredible trance medium, Elaine Thorpe. And in a little while, she'll be bringing through her amazing, dashing Victorian Gentleman spirit guide, Johnathan Hunter. So please join me in welcoming Elaine.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on again, and it's nice to see you all. So I don't know who's come on, but
nobody yet. But I'm about to share it out.
Yeah. Oh well, if they do, they do. You know. Welcome. Oh, we got Honey on.
All right. Hi, Honey.
Honey. Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna come. I know. They just didn't know what happened, and I, because we're running a few.
The lovely art piece should be coming through soon. The Honey bought for you, so it's posted yesterday, so it should be with you in about a week.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's such a beautiful piece. Just both of you. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's all right. Honey's a lovely lady. She's very kind. She's very generous too. She's just bought my other fairy, the night one. She's just got that.
She showed me that in the message yesterday with the one with the thick frame. That's just beautiful too.
Yes, we just posted that today, and Frank's packed it all up for her, so she should be getting that within a few days.
So Honey and I are both going to get our Elaine Thorpe original within just a couple of days.
Yeah. I think yours will take a little bit longer because you're in another country. But
that's true.
Yeah, we'll get it within the week, I should think.
Excellent. So hello, Janine Lane. Hello, Laura Teague. Hello, Char Hayes. Hello, Honey, of course. I'm going to go ahead and share it out to the groups. And so I do apologize that we were late today. We had some furry kid issues, but everybody is fine now.
Yeah, so my furry kitty didn't want to come in, and now she's in.
So all is well. All is well. So let me go ahead and share it out. Let's go ahead and did you have anything that you want to share with everybody while I'm sharing it out?
I'm just trying to think of something at the moment. You know, the old brain's gone.
Oh, you know what? So your son Tom, right? He friended me, and then yesterday or the day before when we were talking about the links, because I wanted to put all of your links under the video so everybody can find you. You know, looking at your YouTube page.
Oh yes, to the website and YouTube and Shane's event in Wales, I think it was. He wanted on there. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, my pleasure. And that's in my. And then he said I had this idea like a while ago, and I never said anything, and he just said it. He's like, we should get together and then create an event for Elaine in Florida. And he's like October of next year. I'm like, that so resonates with me. He goes, of course, we have to ask your mom. I mean, his mom. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm sure he would do that. Bless him. He would do that. He's a good lad.
He is. He's very supportive of you, and I think that would be very cool. If that's something that you're into, I told him I'd love to collaborate on that.
I'd love to, yeah.
And you guys come to Florida. So let me go ahead and share this out because I did announce it. Hi, Magdalena. And Honey is actually amazing today. She's helping us in the comments, making sure everybody.
Bless her. Thank you, Honey.
So I'm going to share this now to the Empath Lighthouse. So your kitty's okay now, right? Everybody's home safe?
Yeah, she's fine. As long as my partner don't let her out again. He won't, though.
Okay, let me just start sharing. I don't think I have to say anything, really. I think it's self-explanatory. You see, Elaine, they're like, oh, we're there.
They're all in, are they? They're all coming in.
Do you want to share it to your groups? That would be, I'm sure your groups would love to see this, too.
Oh, I will do, yeah. I don't know how to do it, though.
I don't think I can share. I can't share to a group that, maybe I can. Let me see if I can.
I wouldn't have a clue how to do it.
All right, let me see if I can do that for you. That's a really good idea.
I mean, I'm on here now, but I wouldn't have a clue how to do it.
I can show you sometime, but it would probably be easier for me to show you on a screen share than it would for me to tell you right now. Let me look at it.
I know my computer's getting a bit hot.
What if I put it under my name and then look under Elaine Thorpe? There we go. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. I had to do a little bit of geeking out over here. That's good. It's gonna work. I'm gonna be able to share it in 2 groups right now.
Yeah. I'm going to shut some of the pages down just so it's not using so much energy. That's
okay.
My computer gets hot on here for some reason.
Say that again?
It gets quite hot. The fan comes on and it gets ever so hot when I do anything like this.
Interesting.
I'll have to get one of those fan things to put underneath it as well.
That's a good idea. Does it have any air underneath it?
No, it's on my table, but it's it's
a laptop?
If I put it on a book or something and raise it up, it might give it some air.
Okay, it actually says that my membership is pending in your group. I don't know if it's really going to let me do it there or not.
Right. I know we got a lady who put it on a book from New Zealand who's the admin. Right, let's lift you up.
Okay. Try this one more time.
Be on here.
I'm so excited to be here with you again, Elaine. I just love you so much. You know that, and I love Johnathan, and it's just always such an honor and a pleasure to have you here as my guest. Really.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
And you know what? I can just show everybody. I'm going to post it on your page too because I can. It's going to allow me to. So yes, it is. Did it work? It really did work. Okay, let me just do this because I can't think of a more important place to share your live than on your pages. But you have a lot of pages with your name.
Yeah.
I found one yesterday. I think it's this one that I messaged you last February, and you still haven't responded.
I mean, what? Sorry.
There was one of the pages like this. I think it's the Elaine Thorpe Trance Medium Spiritual Artist.
Yes.
I think I left your message. I don't think it's going to let me share it to this one. All right, it's not going to let me share it to that one. Okay. Well, I shared it to all the pages I could share it to with your name on it. Let me. I got a few more. All right. Hello, Kathy Williams. She said, yes, it will be good. Raise it up. It'll be good for the airflow. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe like a metal rack or something like that, Elaine.
What's that?
Like underneath your laptop. Kathy Williams says, yes.
Yeah, I've got I've just put it up there on top of the book. I don't know if that'll make any difference.
If you have something like a rack, I think that I'm sure they sell things. I use a desktop most of the time.
Yeah, I think my partner's got a fan upstairs somewhere. And you plug it into your charger and it blows cold air up into the bottom of the computer if you've got it on your lap for a long time.
Okay.
This is only on a book, so I've put it on a book for the moment. I haven't got anything else there.
I understand. Well, that sounds like a plan.
It's because it needs extra power to power up certain things like Skype and that. It does it on Skype as well. And it does it on this Be Live thing. It uses more power.
Oh, the post was approved in the group. Laura Lee. Excellent.
Oh, right.
Yep. Excellent. Join us live now. That's always good. I know that everyone loves you, and if they're in your group, they definitely love you and they're aware of you. So today I'm still sharing it out to like 2 more places. Today I shared it out. I mean, hang on, let me just finish what I'm doing because I can't actually talk and think at the same time. I'm excited. I get excited whenever you're on my show. So. All right, almost done, everyone. We'll catch up with everybody. Okay, now, while I'm doing this, go ahead and put your question in the comments. As you know, there won't be any readings or private questions or personal questions today, but Elaine and Johnathan will be answering your spiritual questions. So put them in the comments. Honey's in the comments to help me to field the questions. And go ahead and do that now, and we'll do our best to get as many answered as possible. So I have already 2 questions that were presented to me earlier. They'll give it to Johnathan a little bit later. Let me join us live now. Actually, I think I can ask you one of those questions. So one of our actually, she's okay. Let me just tell her I'm live now. We are live now. Please join us. There we go. Okay, so her question is about, this is from Marilyn Garber, Victoria Garber, where she's asking what ways can we help improve her trance channeling? And I think that's a perfect question for you.
Yes. With the hold on a moment, just plug this in. With the trance channeling, it's meditation and also belief and trust in yourself, because if you're not trusting, it kind of places a block on what you're doing. You know, trust is something that takes a lot of time. But meditation, if you do meditation for things like that, then you're allowing yourself to relax more, and it makes it easier for spirit to connect with us when we're in relaxed state of mind. We're all stressed and everything. Our mind tends to come into it a little bit more. So if you relax and meditate and sit with a group of people, or even with one person that can keep an eye on you whilst you go into trance. But that's a few pieces of my advice that you could use. You can also read up on trance as well. There are a lot of things online with trance that you can read up about, and it tells you about all the different levels of trance, but it doesn't explain them all, obviously, because there's many different states of mind in trance.
Really?
Each one of you will go into some with a lighter state of trance, some with more deeper. It all depends. Everyone's different. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, that was perfect. And I just finished sharing it out too. Okay. So thank you for that. I think that was an awesome question, Elaine. And let me take a look. Hi, Kim Chemistry. Hello, Patricia Aspa. She says, Megan, you still have my question. Your question is in the group. Let me pull that up really fast. Let me go to our group. Yes, actually, I know Patricia's question. Her question is about, okay, so Patricia's husband transitioned this past year, okay, and she wants to know. Hang on, let me see if I can just read it, because I know I can. Let me just. Okay, so I remember what she was saying. That something about her husband building a house in spirit. Are you familiar with that term, building a house in spirit?
Yes, apparently they build their homes or places that they loved on earth. They can build that as a thought in spirit, because they're a consciousness. They build it as a thought, so they could, like you visualize things in your mind. Mm-hmm. Our mind is actually a consciousness. Because they're a consciousness without a body, they can do similar to what we do. They can think things and they appear in front of them. They're there, but they're ethereal. So once they've finished with that, it goes away. It dissipates. It disappears. So they'll keep it there for the time that they want it, and it might fade away when they don't need it anymore. And that's everything is thought in spirit.
Can they? Okay, so let's say that there's a house in spirit. They build their house. I mean, they can. It's going to sound weird, but I'm just going to throw it out there. So they can like sit on the furniture. Does it feel real to them in some way, even though they're?
I mean, I know I'm not in spirit, but I should think it would feel real to them. They could go in there and sit in a room and have all the surroundings, because they're putting that thought out there of what they would visualize they want, and it would be there in front of them. So in spirit, they wouldn't have to wait for something to come into their life. They could think it and it would be there, and they think, well, that's there. I can sit on that chair now if they wanted to. But they don't require physical things. They may like listening to music. They may like to paint, but it's not a physical requirement. Everything is a thought. So he always says that they don't require anything as a need. They have it if they want it, but they don't need it particularly.
Thank you for that. I'm reading this. Victoria says, I have merged with my twin soul Ray, and he is he is felt in my throat and solar plexus. We were told by Johnathan we would trance channel, and Emma will help us trance channel. I don't know who Emma is. Are you?
Yeah, I'm not sure which Emma. It might be Emma Mather, but
Emma the Mather, the artist.
Yeah, it might be her, but if the twin soul is there with you, that you tend to feel a deeper connection with them, like I do with Johnathan. When he first came through, it was like my whole being kind of lit up. It was a lovely feeling that I'd never ever experienced. I never knew anything like that until he first came to me, and then I felt unconditional love. It's like every part of you lights up. So they do connect perfectly with you. You just need to trust them and trust yourself, and that can go further then.
Absolutely. And I know that we've talked about this on probably you do it in like every interview, but I do feel that maybe there's some new people here who are just meeting you for the very first time. And so if you could just give them a little brief idea of who is Elaine Thorpe and who is Johnathan Hunter and how you know each other in spirit.
How I know each other is by the way he made me feel when he first came to see me. As I explained to you, that he made me feel all lit up and loved, and I felt like I'd known him forever. So that's the feeling I got. It was like a soul knowing that you had a connection with that particular soul.
And you were both incarnate in the 1800s, right? When Johnathan.
Yeah, that's right. And it actually turns out my son found out. I think it's my one of my great grandfathers also lived in Islington in the time that Johnathan was alive in Islington. So they could have passed each other in the street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is, you know.
That's amazing. In case you don't know, in the 1800s, I forget the year exactly. Elaine was Mary Ann Ellsworth. Am I right?
That's right, yeah.
Johnathan, as you know, is Johnathan Hunter, and they fell in love, and they were together. And it's a longer story than that, but I guess if you want to like give a little brief synopsis of it, or
yeah, from what I feel, you know, because I don't see everything, but from what I feel that I know him, it's just like I came into his home as a maid. And he said that I used to be in the kitchens and cleaning and things, and generally doing what a maid did in those days. And when I met eye to eye with him, there was an instant connection, just like there was in this life when he came to me. It was amazing, and it just feels so strong. It really does. Now, when I was younger, I used to say, I hate Victorian times. I wouldn't have wanted to be in those times, but it turns out I was.
Really?
Maybe I hated it because I was separated from him and put into the workhouses somehow. But it just feels like a deep connection. That's how it feels. And in that life, I would have come in, he said, from up north somewhere, and I wasn't sure exactly where it was. But when my friends took me to the Islington Church, St Mary's, when I left, I felt a bit of a sadness, you know, it was like a bit of a sadness. So it's like I had to go back there for closure of something. But I definitely felt when I walked in the place, I thought, wow, you know, it's all modern now. It was old before, but the connection, it seemed strange going back there. And I always seemed strange going back there after all these years. Oh, great big things just.
Yeah, we have a question. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just trying. They're moving by so quickly that I wanted to grab it and put it on the screen, so I didn't lose it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So the question is, how do I get to know my guides? By Colleen Paletti.
Oh yes, feel like I'm not doing it right or something's blocking me. Well, Colleen, it's believing again. It's believing in yourself. Letting go is the key to connecting with your guides, and also asking them to send you signs that they're around. Ask them to send you little signs that they're there. I mean, my guide, we were on the way to Portsmouth, sent me his name on the side of a whole lorry. Now, if that isn't a synchronicity, I don't know what is, but ask them to send you little signs that you feel that you could recognize from them. Tell them to let you know, your guide to let you know that he or she is around.
Okay, so so she should just like talk to her guide.
Ask them to send you a sign.
Before you ever got into trance channeling, well, I know you kind of been into it for a long time, but I mean, how did you first feel your guide? First feel Johnathan before you were like aware that he was Johnathan and all that?
It was right at the end of this trance thing. I can't remember who came through in the rest of the trance. It was in my neighbour's house.
Oh,
She asked me to do it, and I was a bit reluctant. I said, well, I've only been in the group for a few months. Oh, come on, she said, just give it a go. So I did. And at the end, Johnathan introduced himself. Now, I never even knew about guides because really I'd only been in the group for a while. She hadn't really explained about these guides. She kind of just let us get on with it and experimented. Okay. So we weren't really taught too much, but I felt good in there, you know. And he introduced himself at the end of this trance thing that I'd done in my friend's house. And I thought, well, where have you been? You know, I know you, but I don't know you, but I've known you forever. He just come in by himself and introduced himself. I never even asked him to show a sign. I never asked him to come in, simply because I wasn't explained to about that. So I knew nothing of it, see? I knew nothing of guides. So I wasn't really taught that at that time when I was in the group. And so I had no knowledge. So he just appeared on his own accord, without my expectancy, without me looking for him. He just came there. So sometimes the guides will show up by themselves. If you work too hard and want it too much, just let it be. Ask them to send you a sign and leave it at that, and watch them show up. Because I didn't even ask him to show up, and he did. So he did it by himself. If you don't force the issue so much, like, oh, I demand that you come now, or you may find they'll show up themselves. But if you want them to come, ask them to send you a sign and leave it at that, and let them. They'll come to you. They'll show you in their own time.
Thank you for that, Elaine. Kim Plod says, I was told if I found the place I lived in a previous life, that everything would come back to me. Is this true? And if so, how do I find this place?
Can you say it again? Sorry.
Do you want me to read it again?
Yes, please. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't want to bring it up and distract you, but I can pull it up on the screen again. Maybe that's easier too. Because
if I would have had a place I lived in the previous and then come back to me. You don't always get everything. You don't get everything come back to you. You get little snippets come back to you. Probably the most prevalent parts of that life. You know, the part that was the strongest memory of that life would come back to you. You wouldn't have every little detail of the life. You would have snippets of that life that would be much strong to you, and you'd recognise. So if this is true, how do you find this place? Well, sometimes you can be regressed. You can be regressed and find that past life.
Okay.
Sometimes you may turn up at a place and say, oh, I feel like I've been here before and I was so and so. It don't always happen like that. So the best way to do it, if you don't get a chance to do it that way, is to be regressed. And then you have a past life regressionist, and they put you into a relaxed state, and you go back through some of your past lives. So I find that's the easiest way to do it, you know.
So past life regression.
Yeah. I've had that done myself. And I think I went back to the life with Johnathan. I had it done twice. I had it done with a lady. She just talked to me and with my eyes open normally, and she told me what I was in my past lives. Or you can be regressed and have it done, you know. So there's either way that can be done. But most people put you in a relaxed state and go to somebody reputable that knows what they're doing, of course, and so they can bring you out if you're in any distress. But usually you don't get into a distressed state. You just leave those lives behind. You leave the emotion of that life behind, and helps you actually move forward with your life.
I'm putting up on the screen to put your questions for Elaine and Johnathan in the comments now. I think some people don't know and some people do know. And so I'm just making sure that I let them know again that they can ask questions today. Yeah. So,
yeah, well, that's fine.
Yes, absolutely. This is wonderful. So Elaine, we have, it's actually, we don't have the details aren't set in stone yet, but the date is September 30th. Mark this on your calendar. It's going to be amazing. And of course, featuring Elaine Thorpe and Johnathan Hunter. It's going to be amazing. It's not going to be an intimate gathering. It's going to be a much bigger thing where a lot of people can attend. Feeling very strongly about this, and I can tell you that that the theme is going to be what you need to know about moving into 2020 and advice from a spirit guide. Right, Elaine?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I believe he's spoken briefly about 2020 before, but he may have more to say about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always very exciting. Johnathan talks about that. It's I know we're moving into the new energy and things are moving faster. And today is 8/8. And wait, your place it was 8/8 at 8 o'clock.
Oh yes, how strange is that? And I've got number 18 within my door number.
Yeah, and that's right. And it's my life path. And so lots and lots of exciting things going on here. Let me see if there are any questions. I was trying to ask Honey to, okay. Prevent. That was an interesting question. Okay, well, she wants to ask Johnathan, but is there a way, I mean, whether you or Johnathan know how to help prevent cancer?
Prevent cancer? Mm-hmm. Well, from what I've read, just not my particular knowledge, but what I've read, I was just looking at something on there today, actually, that her husband had cancer.
Okay.
So they now sell these goods online, and it turns out that she put him onto this plant-based diet, and it was all greens, dark. Now, somebody else said to me, dark greens. So things like spring greens, cabbage, spinach, going on to those sort of things. Obviously, you can't eat huge plates full of them, but you can buy things, use juices, natural juices with those in, and basically live a clean diet that's got green vegetables in it, and avoid things like burgers and fast foods. You don't have to cut everything out, but mainly eat that sort of like plant-based diet and a lot of red meat. Try to avoid a lot of red meat. Personally, I don't eat red meat, but a lot of it is, I would say they do things to it, don't they, to plump the animal up a bit or make it put on.
All the antibiotics. You may want to go organic, even if you are eating.
That's another thing, yeah, organic. You're true there, because I buy organic milk and stuff, and mostly some of the organic things I can buy. And they're not always available wherever I am, but you can go organic. That's another way of doing it. They put this man on complete organic diet. He was on crutches. He could hardly move. He's now running around, exercising, slim. He lived a complete organic diet. But it can be very expensive. But then you can do the best you can to eat as natural as you can. You could even grow your own vegetables if you're able to, but it's not always easy tending to them. But I would say, yes, organic diet is good, and juices, or eating raw carrots. You don't have to always juice things up. Eat the vegetables, raw spinach you can eat. That sort of diet. That's what I recommend.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's excellent advice, Elaine. I completely agree.
Yeah, it's what I've heard from others, I've heard that.
Kim Chemistry says, I'm new, so any message, we're not doing private readings today, Kim, but you're welcome to book a private reading with Elaine and Johnathan, and they are amazing. And so so you've never met them before? Oh my goodness. I'm glad that you're here. It's good to see you. If you have a general question, a general spiritual question for Elaine and Johnathan, or Elaine or Johnathan, however you want to do that, then go ahead and post that in the comments. I see that, let me see. Sharon says, I sat in trance the other night and felt like a see-through shroud dropped over me, and I went deeper into trance. Oh.
Yeah, maybe that was the spirit guide connecting with her. Because if she saw it, that's wonderful that she could actually see it, and that it was sort of practicing blending with her, and obviously protect yourself when you're going to do these things. Don't just enter straight into it like that. Just prayer and protection when you start, and when you finish, you're opening up and then you're closing down at the end of it. So you're not leaving yourself open to other things, if you know what I mean.
I have a question here. Who's your favorite Welsh person, Elaine?
It's not Shane, is it? It's Shane. Hello, Shane. I could see a little face in the circle there.
I love that.
Yeah, in fact, he wants me to mention the event in Wales.
Oh, that's a great idea.
The 30th and 30th, what's the 31st actually, I think. I'll be arriving on the 30th, and I think the event's actually on the 31st of August in Cumbran. So I'm looking forward to seeing them all again. I really am.
Excellent. So are you gonna broadcast it live like you did the other time?
I should think Shane will broadcast it live. Yeah, he's pretty good with all the camera gear and everything. It come out well last time.
Yes, it did. Absolutely, it did. That was incredible. I'm
And
so excited.
I will be doing they will be doing a raffle. They do a raffle there, and I donate to the homeless. You see, and all the raffle money goes to the homeless people. And the lady was very happy last time. It got all the blankets and things for the homeless people. So I like to do my bit to help the homeless. You know, or any other charity that I can help out, then it's there. But I see that a lot of the big charities get a lot of money, and the homeless, they don't always get so much. So I think we ought to help them.
I like that. That's definitely a great cause.
Yeah, last time we raised £110 for the homeless. You know, I was over the moon, and so was the lady that received the money to help them. So, yeah, we should be doing that again, I should think. With Shane's permission, of course.
Awesome. We do have a question. Hang on, I'm thinking it's an easy question. I can remember this, and then as soon as I moved my eyes off the screen, I forgot the question. Okay, yes. What I do? Somebody wants to know how to protect. Oh yeah, Elaine, how do you do your protection? From Anita Awe.
Well, what I do is I pray at the beginning, and I ask for protection for all, even the person that's perhaps having the reading as well. I ask for everything to come in love, light, and truth. Those are the 3 words that my mother told me, and my father told me: love, light, and truth. And then another motto they said was, use me, but don't abuse me, you know? Because they're coming into your domain and using you with your permission, and you ask them to protect you. You go to the highest source to ask for that protection. And then when you've finished, you close down, you say a prayer for protection. Again, as you started, you ask them to continue with that protection. And that's what I do each time. You make it a habit. You make it a habit because you're lending yourself to the other world, and you're asking the spirits of light to come through to you. You don't want anything else but the light. So that's what you pray and ask for.
Thank you for that. We have a question from Sharon Milne Barber. She'd like to know, can I ask where Elaine goes when Johnathan comes in? Does she have any awareness?
I do. They show me places. When I'm going into the trial to put the music on, they take me to places. They mostly take me into the woods during meditation, which is where I love to go. Peaceful place. And they do show me pictures of people's loved ones. Now, whether or not I can see them as they looked, I don't know, but that they show me them in certain areas where they're standing, what they're doing, what they're wearing, or what they did wear, or their habits. They show me pictures of people, souls, you know, and they show me pictures of places as well. So that's what they do. And I can hear the conversation going on, but I have no way of speaking in it in the middle, you know. And then if I do go deeper, which is usually in my group, but sometimes I have gone deeper in the trance, and it feels like he's speaking up there and I'm down here. So it kind of feels like you've got smaller when that happens, and he's up there somewhere. So you feel quite crunched up, this kind of thing, but not uncomfortably. But it feels a bit weird because he kind of talks to himself up there and you're down here, and you think, what am I doing down here?
So he's like above you. Is that what you're saying? I think he's like over here and you're over here, but his voice is coming out of your mouth, right?
Well, it feels like he's up in the air, up there somewhere one night, because he said to this lady he would want to kiss them all. I assume he was talking about a relative, wanted to kiss all his family. And I thought, where's my involvement in this? You know, he was up there and I was down here and thought, how did he do that? I was thinking, how the hell have I got down here?
That's so funny. Wow.
It feels weird, but
you're aware of the conversation and you're like casually listening, and that's incredible. I mean, the whole thing is always been incredible.
I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. It's like he's at the front and behind. Oh, sorry, I've got the fan in my head. It's like he's at the front and behind. So I feel like I'm kind of sandwiched in the middle of his energy, and it's surrounding all of me and protecting me.
Wow, that is amazing. And Melissa Figueroa says, I love Elaine. I love Johnathan. And Denise Lee says, love you, Elaine Thorpe. And everybody loves you, Elaine.
Oh, blimey. I'm not perfect.
You're awesome.
Thank you for supporting me. It gives me encouragement to keep going, you know. And I learn to trust more because it's taken years. It has taken a long time to trust, you know. It does. We're humans and we're curious about things, and we want things there on the table in front of us. They can only do their best, you know. You just got to learn to trust.
I'm a trance medium. Have you ever heard of Mark Bedwood from Australia?
No, I haven't. No, I'd be interested to. I love other trance mediums, watching them. It's so interesting.
The 18th, the week after, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, right after that, Mark Bedwood is my guest. It'll be 9 p.m. It's going to be really early in the morning, your time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is like 6 hours later for you. So it'll be in the middle of the night. But he's going to be my guest. And actually, he's teaching, and Honey's in his class right now.
Oh, yes. Yes, she was saying something about that, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, I was wondering if you ever saw him channel, you know, channel, do you call it that?
Well, you call it channel, and we just, I can't think what we call it now. Trance communication or anything like that, we call it. But
and you still sit with the same group that you've sat with for years?
I have, yeah. It's not in the same house because my friend got married and moved away. But we've sat for about 6 years, I think, in my friend's house now. She's been running the circle. And the other night, it was night before last, I went there. And I must have gone quite deep into trance. And I see my father sitting on a tree stump. And I thought, oh, God, I can't take this. And it's not even been 3 years yet, but I bawled my eyes out underneath the trance. And when I came round, my other friend had gone into trance, and her guide is a very, very powerful healer. He's a samurai. She'd gone into trance, and he'd been working on me because I saw him step in. And he said, you needed to let that go. So emotions can happen under trance. They can happen.
Wow.
If you see your loved one and you're in the trance, and if it's too emotional for you. So they brought me out of the trance. I was fine afterwards. I just needed a good cry, and I felt a lot better.
Wow.
So,
that's fascinating. Thank you for sharing.
I could see him as clear as day, sitting on this tree stump waiting for me. And he looked younger and he looked well. And as soon as I got too close, it was too much for me. I just couldn't bear it.
I understand.
Yeah. No, it's his birthday next month. So.
Patricia Aspa says, I have heard that even though the soul has reincarnated, that you can still speak with the soul. How does that work?
Do you know what, Patricia, I've had, before my dad passed, we were sitting in circle one night, and my dad came through me, and he said, where's my Maggie? Where's my Maggie? I'm looking for Maggie. Well, that was my mother. He was looking for her. She'd passed. And he got out of his body and come into my body in the circle. So it's reincarnation.
I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I can hear a dog fight. I think there's a dog fight going on out there.
Sorry.
Oh.
My angels. Either somebody delivered something or somebody walked by the. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I apologize.
Oh, bless them.
Or it could be them saying, Mommy, it's dinner time. But Oh my goodness. It's let's take a look. So Janine Lane says, I understand that I had tears running down my face once after trance connecting to my family.
Yeah, this quite easily happens because it's when you get so close to them like that and you're conscious enough to feel any emotion, then it does overwhelm you a bit.
I understand. Shane says, Elaine came to my house and my girlfriend had healing and Johnathan took her to the astral world. Excuse me. When she came out of the trance, her eyes were so red and full of tears, but in the trance it wasn't. And it was amazing. I wish I could explain more. Can you explain that, Elaine?
Yes. I was sort of inspired to say, sit down. We were in the kitchen and she sat down opposite me. I said, just hold my hands. And I had my eyes open, you see, and I kind of went into this like open-eyed trance. And she said, my face just kind of dropped a bit or didn't look the same. And she looked into my eyes and see her nan.
Oh.
And she went off to sleep and she said she saw the like the universe and things. She was shown that. Now, a few people have been shown that under the healing, but I didn't go into a shut-eye trance. It was open-eyed for a minute while she looked into my eyes, and then she just went and went to sleep. Saw all this stuff. Come back, said she'd seen a nan in my eyes. So they can get into our features, kind of, transfiguration. They kind of transfigurate and they look through your eyes at theirs. So you have to be in a light altered state for them to come in. And she must have overtaken me and looked at her.
Transfiguration. Can you give the definition of that, please?
Transfiguration is where the spirit is able to form like a mask, of their features over your face. So they start to alter your features. And they don't physically alter them, but they place like a spirit face over the top of your face, and your face begins to kind of move about a bit. And then in the end, people say, oh, I could see my father over, or I could see my nan. But she could see her nan in my eyes and over my face. And she was kind of in an altered state herself. So she could go to sleep and then see the universe and that. I don't know completely all what she saw now. I can't remember, but I know she said about that. She spoke to her. And she said, oh, that's it. She said she went into a lovely garden and stuff. So it was amazing what you saw. And then Shane had a go. And he was like, oh, my God. He could see his friend. And he was in a bit of a state because he could see his friend looking back at him. And that had passed away through my face, Right. So I assume he was either transfigurating over my face and looking through my eyes at him, or he could see him over my face somehow. But he was a little bit shocked and tearful, and he come to terms with it afterwards. But I think it was quite a poignant moment for him.
Excuse me. Thank you for that. That sounds amazing. And I'm listening to you, but I'm also looking for the next question. I seem like I'm half listening. Please forgive me. I want to hear everything that you say, always. You and Johnathan both, but I also want to make sure that everybody, anyway, I'm just doing my thing here. But I love that. We do have a question from Carolyn. I've got to find it again. Oh my goodness. There's got to be a more convenient way to field the questions, but I haven't figured it out right now. So, honey, and I'm trying to work it out kind of on the fly here, but let's see. Shane says, I was bawling. Oh, that's when, I understand. I just saw it. One moment. Carolyn says, Elaine, when you're developing, does your voice box hurt? Does your voice box hurt?
No, it did. When he changed my voice to his, it didn't hurt at all. If I didn't relax, it hurt a bit. It felt kind of tight. Because I'm meant to be a woman. I'm meant to speak as I am, and a man's voice is deeper and more louder, and they probably would have to manipulate things. So I found the more that I relaxed, the more this under here didn't tighten up. There were times when this all tightened up here, and I thought, oh, I feel a bit, can you just relax me? And now it's just seems easy. So if you're not tensed up relax as much as you can and let the guide speak. They won't hurt your voice box. It's you kind of tensing up and all your muscles tense up here. But you imagine he's got to deepen my voice. That's quite, I suppose that's quite weird and quite complex, hard to explain. But he's kind of uses the lower tones of my voice, so he says. And know how low he's got to go. I don't know to get that, but he's singing, how low can you go? But it takes them time. It takes them a lot to even blend with your energy and be able to communicate, let alone change your voice. It's he always said it's not as easy as it looks. Well, I shouldn't think it would be if you haven't got a physical body and you've got to manipulate a human again. It's not as easy as it looks.
Actually doesn't look that easy. But I understand what you're saying, though. You make it look easy because it just happens so naturally. But I know.
Yeah, it's because I allowed it and let go. But there were times when under here and I thought, oh, can I really do this? Is it supposed to be really happening? Can it do any damage? You know what you think, don't you? You think, oh, can he damage my voice box? Should it be doing that? And all sorts of questions I was asking, thinking, well, I hope it don't do any damage. But, you know, so far it hasn't anyway.
I have a question for you. I'm glad I thought of it. Thank you, Spirit. So when you're not okay, so like when I have a reading or anybody has a reading, they get to sit and talk to Johnathan face to face, right? But when you talk to Johnathan, and I know you have the picture, but when you talk to Johnathan, and I know you talk to his picture, his beautiful picture that you have, but do you hear him? Do you see him? Is it clear cognizant? How do you chat with Johnathan during the day?
I can chat with him in my mind. I might ask him something. I'll say, or sometimes I tell him off. I've told him off before. I've said, oh, why didn't you do this? We all tell him off, don't we? We don't mean to, but we do. But most of the time I say, how can I do this, Johnathan? And why is this doing this? Why does this have to be like this? And he'll answer me into my mind. But he has come through before when I've relaxed and sat there. And because I can hear him talking.
Okay.
And at one time, a few years ago, I recorded him. I said, right, you can take me into trance if you look after me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, and he spoke to me. And I recorded it. Wow. But then I don't know where the recording is. It's probably on an old phone. But he clearly spoke to me and told me things that were going to happen.
Wow. That's
and then it came true, he did within the group as well.
That's such a great idea. That's one of the things we'll do on September 20th, predictions for 2020.
Oh, yes.
It so inspired me. Isn't that a great idea? Wouldn't you like to know?
Definitely.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about everything. And so, yeah, and definitely, I'm sure Shane is announcing. If you're not, then please do it. If you want to drop Shane the advertisement for the live event with Elaine and Johnathan, definitely do that in the comments. Perfect place to do it. All right. And of course, if you want to book a private reading with Johnathan, you still can. I know there's going to be a time when Elaine's too busy to do it. I know it. I know it's coming. But for now, she's still accepting clients. Also, Elaine is an incredible spiritual artist. Oh my gosh. This is my amazing soul painting right in front of me all the time.
Yeah. It's a little bit hard to see because the light's bright. But you can see it there.
It's much more beautiful in person. And if you look up close, you can actually see that. Well, you really can't, can you? My camera's not the best. But anyway, it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love it. And I have another one coming in the mail. And so if you want an original Elaine Thorpe painting, you just contact her, inbox her. She tunes into your energy and then creates an original piece just for you. And I'm very glad.
Yes, I do love doing that. Yeah, must admit, I've always liked art.
And you're a very talented artist, my friend. I love it. I love it. But some of us, like Honey, have like a whole collection. And I'm going to have 2. I can't even believe it. I'm so excited. Oh, you know what else? Hang on a second. Ugh. If you want to order one of these from Elaine, you can do that too. Wait, I'll show you. Hang on a minute. Whoop. An signed autographed picture. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yes.
If I were doing when we do your live event,
I'm going to wipe all the lines out.
What lines? Perfect. Oh my gosh. See?
There's none there. I edited.
When you do your live events,
I mean, that does it all for you.
wouldn't it be perfect for you to have like do signed autograph signatures for your live events? We'll have to plan.
Yeah, I don't mind. You know, I'll do anything. Obviously, I'm not that amazing, but side pictures. I feel
You are.
you know.
I think you are. So there. I think you're amazing. Listen, I went to Star Trek conventions. Hang on, I got the focus back in here. I went to Star Trek conventions when I was younger and had like Worf, Michael Dorn's signature and Scotty and right.
Yeah, but they're famous.
Yeah, but they're not half as cool as you are, Elaine. So yeah.
Oh, yes, you are.
I cannot believe all the distractions today. This phone never rings. Let me just hang up. I don't even use the phone. Okay, so I'm really excited. Do you think we should say hello to Johnathan?
Yes, I think so. I'm going to put some music on. Is that all right?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Absolutely. And want to thank everyone for being here. And I'm going to be quiet so Elaine can do her thing. And I love you, Elaine. You're awesome. We all love you and thank you. And
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. I'm going to grab some more club soda. I'll be right back.
Right, let's go.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Johnathan. How are you?
I am nothing other than fine, thank you, my dear. Yes, and I would like to thank you for allowing us to come and speak with you.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. I just love you so much, and we all do. And thank you for being here. Oh my gosh. I was running around. I was getting some club soda and I ran to the other room and I'm like, Johnathan, wait, Johnathan, just take the time.
Well, the music here allowed us to take out time.
Thank you for that.
So now that we are here, I'm sure if anybody wanted to ask us anything.
Yes. We have a lot of good questions for you today. All right. The first thing I want to do is, okay, Michelle says, hang on. That's a personal question. There are no personal questions, guys. We're doing, everybody's saying good evening. Lorraine is saying good evening. Janine, Catherine, honey. I would love to know how to connect with spirits around me and to discover who they are, Johnathan. That's from Debbie Snowden Holiday.
Well, it is quietening the mind, isn't it? And allowing them to come close to you. Or again, sending you signs, as Elaine has stated that she got the information that I had given before. And then there is meditation. And a lot of people think that to meditate, you've got to sit there for hours on end and chant and what have you. That could not be further from the incorrectness, because I would say to you that you could meditate for 2 or 3 minutes. You could meditate for 5 minutes, you could meditate for an hour. It's entirely up to one's own decision and how quick you can relax within that time. So there is such a thing as transcendental meditation, and that is the least amount of time you would need to relax the mind, to train the mind to relax very quickly, and you're still able to go about things in order to meditate, to quieten the mind.
Thank you, Jonathan. We have a question. Did Johnathan start channeling from Elaine to teach us, or was there another reason? That's from Patricia Aspa.
Would you say that again, please, my dear?
Sure, absolutely. So they want to know if you started channeling through Elaine to teach us all, or is there another purpose that you started coming through?
Well, the reason that I started to come through Elaine is, yes, we want to help the people of the earth, and we wanted to help enlighten them and awaken them, and also to heal them and to let them know that there is another side after you pass out of your physical body, and you will enter into a beautiful spirit world where there is unconditional love. And what that does is help them to know that their loved ones are safe on the other side and happy, and it also helps them to move forward with their life, you see.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. William McGowan says, why are some people more connected to spirit than others?
Some people are more connected to spirit because perhaps they have family members that have taken part in that sort of thing. They have other family members that have been mediums, or they are intuitive in some way to connect with spirit. And sometimes you will have, before the incarnation, a choosing to come to the earth and take part in this sort of thing. So it is a choice that you make of free will in spirit of coming into this incarnation and then taking part in spiritual awakening in order to help others.
Did a lot of us come here specifically, and I feel like I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did a lot of us come here specifically because of the time, because we're moving into 2020, because of this new energy, Johnathan?
Yes, you will have a lot of souls coming to this earth to bring the light to the earth, to bring the awakening to the earth. And of course, they are going to be little children at first, but they are all souls within those children, so they will have great wisdom within their minds and within their souls. So they will speak older than their way, you see. You will get a child that is maybe 5 or 6 years old, and they will speak like an old soul sometimes, won't they? But they are all souls that have come to enlighten the world in some way or another. So you will get these children that will come into the world and make light within the world.
Thank you for that, Johnathan. I'm sorry. I'm looking. I thought that it'd be more questions, but in between the questions, there's personal questions. We're not doing private questions today, guys. If you have a spiritual general question, put it on there and I will ask it. This is your time. This is the time to find out like all the greatest questions in the whole universe. It's a lot of time to get a reading, but I really feel that, okay, so what I wanted to ask you about while I'm looking for another question, because Elaine has, I guess you have both agreed to join me on September 30th for an amazing event. And it's going to be featuring helping us all to prepare for moving into 2020. And so I thought maybe you could give us a little glimpse about what that might be like.
Well, I will say it will be a wonderful evening of explanation about 2020 and the Great Awakening. And it is getting ever nearer, isn't it? Your time seems to be moving faster. Although you would still have your 24 hours a day. Time is moving faster, so to speak.
I noticed that. I mean, a day seems to go by like an hour now. Oh, can you explain how that's happening, Johnathan? Why time is clearly speeding up, or it appears to be? It seems to be speeding up.
It appears to be because you are. I do find that these spiritual people are awakened, and they spend so much time that they are busy during their day. They take less notice of the time, don't they? They're so busy getting on with things, and they have so much mind clutter. They're not worrying so much about the time. Unless you have to be at work or your employment at a specific time, or you've got to be there at some specific time. I find a lot of people say, well, what is the time? And they simply, between that time, they haven't taken any notice of what the clock says. They've just been enjoying themselves so much, they haven't taken any notice of the time. But it may seem as if time is getting quicker, but I do see that it is moving quicker, you see. And it is not physically moving quicker.
Okay, so it's not actually faster. It didn't really speed up, but it's the way we experience it has.
Yes, because you have very busy lives, and you are less concentrating on what the time is, you see. And sometimes people will say, oh, it feels as if the time is going slow today because I have nothing to do. Or you are concentrating on something that you're perhaps enjoying doing. You look up at your watch and say, was that the time? I forgot what the time was. So you weren't concentrating on the time because you were enjoying doing something.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for that, Johnathan. Catherine Ann says, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Carry on, my dear, yes.
Catherine Ann says, how do we know our twin flames?
Your twin flames have an eternal connection to you. And that is a connection that can never be broken. It is the complete and utter connection of male and female counterpart, which is of the universe of God, because if you look at a God, you call him he, you say, oh, he is God, but that energy that you are praying to is of male and female energy, but not of a particular gender, because it is of male and female essence and energy, you see? So it is not really a gender. If you say God is he, that he is all-powerful, well, yes. The enlightenment of the power of the love is so beautiful and incredible, but there is no particular gender to this all-encompassing being, because that is light, pure love, pure light, pure essence. And you will work your way through your lifetimes, and you will eventually join with your twin soul in union. And that is the union of the one being, isn't it? That I have just explained to you about God being male and female essence. Yes. And when those twin souls, that male and female essence that is in completion with one another, one and the same, they join together in union, and if they're going to incarnate in the world, they will go about spreading the word of the light or awakening people in some way or another. And so that is relationship completion, because it's not even beginning to be about a relationship as such. It is pure love. Pure love. So when you join with your twin soul, you are joining as one. Not two, but one. You are becoming one as male and female counterparts. So you are two energies as one energy. Completion of love. No longer needing any other relationship, because that is what you are working each relationship through to get to completeness as one. You will experience every single relationship or friendship that ever was and ever is that is to do with unconditional love. But when you meet your twin soul, it's like an explosion of pure love, because that is the one. You see, that is completion. You don't need any other relationships in the way of partnership relationships, because that is it. So,
Johnathan, may I ask you, does your twin soul always show up as someone that you are close to in a positive way, or do they ever show up for the contrast?
no, they do never show up with contrast.
Oh, thanks.
People say, well, I had an argument with my twin soul. Twin souls rarely, they don't even argue. They will know each other inside out as one and the same. So they won't annoy each other as such, because they will spend most of their day communicating mind to mind without physical communication or always needed. You will understand each other's need because you are each other.
That makes so much sense. I mean, I've heard, and I'm sure others have heard this too, where people will say, oh, they call it like twin flame, and a lot of times there's a lot of contrast because and what you're saying, that's not it at all. You'll know so I think people sometimes they want to believe someone is their twin soul, and even though it's not really working and it's very challenging, but you're saying that every twin soul, it's really just going to be, you're going to know, and it's not going to be
oh, you're going to feel it, you're going to know. It is pure, unadulterated love. It's beautiful. You will know it.
Thank you.
There is no argument involved in it, because it's pure love.
Thank you. That's going to wind up being a YouTube clip. I can hear it because everybody wants to know this. You hear that too, Shane?
Spiritual communication between two people in the physical or the spiritual, or vice versa.
All about communication. We do have a question up on the screen from Lenore D. St. Maurice, and it says, she asks, isn't meditation a practice? She actually has a multi-part question. I'll just read it all and you can answer whatever resonates. Isn't meditation a practice from 3D energy? Doesn't it entail separation from oneness? And is the new age outdated? Quantic energy would make it obsolete, wouldn't it? I don't know. Wait, I'm going to leave that all with you, and you extract what it is that you want to talk about. What do you feel about meditation? And isn't it separation from
meditation is going to oneself, isn't it? It is coming back to oneself and tuning in with the higher self.
Yeah.
Now, the higher self is the intuitive self. And what you do is you take the logic state of mind, and the ego state of mind will be put out of that, unless you're allowed to creep in. And that is self-doubt, you see, when you allow that ego state of mind. The logic state of mind is always going to be there. It's always going to be there because that is what helps the body function from day to day. So you have several states of mind. You have the logic state of mind, you have the ego state of mind, you have the altered state of mind, you have the subconscious state of mind, you have the sleep state of mind. There are several states of mind. But your subconscious awakens once you go into an altered state. And your subconscious is connected to the higher self. It is part of the higher self. It is part of the intuitive self. Right. And a lot of your thoughts will be stored back into the subconscious through your everyday state of mind, through your everyday thinking, the ego state of mind. But then when you go into an altered state of mind, the subconscious will wake up part of the subconscious, which is conjoined to the oneness of the altered state of mind. And it will begin to tune into what you call the pineal gland. It is the pineal gland. Now, the pineal gland is where the soul actually resides. The body is just the counterpart to help the soul be maneuvering about as the physical. But the pineal gland is what connects the intuitive self, and the higher self is the pineal gland. And it will connect to the universe, which is that you are part of. And when you're going into altered state, meditative states helps you connect to the pineal gland and awaken the universal mind. So you all have a universal mind which connects to that universe, which connects spiritually to it, and connects in a relaxed state of mind. Even if you're not tuning into spirit, you are tuning into the higher state of mind, which is the universal mind. So I hope that helps as an explanation to you, but there is no outdated version. This has been going on for thousands of years now. The Mayans, the Egyptians, everyone that is of a spiritual nature, the Indians, this is no old outdated thing. This has gone on since the beginning of human mind time, that they were able to use their pineal gland. And as you come into modern society, you have used it less, but you are beginning to use it more, because in your society, you have begun to use the ego state of mind more, and the logic state of mind has to be there for the perfect reason of everyday function. But you have been functioning with your ego mind. You've been using that and allowing that to control you for so many years. Whereas in old times, they would have relied upon their intuitive self for everything.
Really?
Well, yes, if they're going to be in any danger, they use their intuitive self to get by, to protect themselves. The Mayans used their intuitive self in order to know what night and day was, what the time was, what their predictions were, you see. It all comes into this, the pineal gland again. And so in modern terms, you have closed that off and you are only just beginning to learn how to use it again. So this has gone on through the ages, my dear. Yes, it's no new age thing. It's so old, it's unbelievable. Beginning of human time. They use their intuitive mind to keep themselves in the right direction. And they would meditate for thousands of years. Yes. And the Tibetans, also, the Buddhists, they also use states of mind. If you get people doing martial arts, they will chop a block of wood in half with their hand. But if you try to do it without using your altered state of mind, you would hurt your hand. But they go into such a state of mind that requires them to feel no pain but gives them super strength. So they are using, again, their universal mind. They are taking themselves away from the logic and the ego state of mind. They are tuning themselves into that altered state of mind in order to chop this block of wood in half with no pain. Altered state of mind. They have practiced for many years to do that in order to take their everyday mind out of that function and use their altered state of mind to empower themselves in order to do things that are not normally humanly possible.
Thank you for that, Johnathan. That was an amazing. See, the universal mind. I never heard that expression before. The universal mind, and I understand is that our collective consciousness. Is that what another phrase?
Yes, that is right. You are all one massive collective consciousness. Everybody in your world right now is thinking of something. Your minds are going like electricity. There's thousands of millions of thoughts all going at once, all over the world, and some are sitting meditating now, some are having a conversation, some are eating a meal, some are doing unusual things. You see? So everywhere in this world at this particular moment, everybody's mind isn't lighting up, even if they are asleep.
Johnathan, can you tune into everyone all at the same time? I mean, can you do that with bilocation, possibly?
Yes, the bilocation is what we would do. If you were going to sit in a chair now and think of several people, all of your family members you would think of.
Okay.
Well, you are in one position because you are in a physical being. So you cannot move in order to see them and actually be with them because your consciousness is inside of the physical being. But when you become spirit consciousness, your consciousness is no longer having a body attached to it. It is able to bilocate. So bilocation is having several thoughts at any given time and being able to be there. But you can only bilocate if you are in the ethereal, in dream state, or you are in spirit.
But that's what I guess. So my question is, you are in spirit, and so can you tune into like you were talking about all the minds in the entire world at this moment are all thinking about something? Can you tune into every morning.
Now that would be a noise, wouldn't it? I would have a headache, but I don't require a headache because I have no physical being. But yes, it would be very noisy. And all of the thousands and millions of thoughts all going at once would be like electricity.
Are there some thoughts that jump out more than others, or is it just who you focus on from your perspective?
It would be who we focus upon. We would hear their thoughts. And only with their permission, of course, if they're going to think about us, we may say, well, look, they are thinking about us right now. Let's go and see them. We could be with them at any given moment. Because we have no weight or physicality to hold us down. We could be anywhere.
I love that. I love that. So I mean, there's a lot of us that talk to you. We're not watching you talk to Elaine, but we talk to you.
You get them all, my dear. But I'm not in charge. I'm not the great God, but I'm just spirit. But I will say, yes, I do listen to people, what they say to me.
We have a couple of questions. Actually, we have the first one. I'm trying to go in some kind of order. By the way, if there's more questions, I think we have more questions than we have time, which is okay, because we can move a lot of these questions into the September 30th event. That details are going to follow soon. So do you, hang on a second. Now, can I read my handwriting? Well, let's go with the one that I can read. It's on the screen. It says, from Shane Ford, how can you manifest something quick in your life?
Did you say manifest something into your life?
Yeah, how can you manifest something quickly?
Well, the universe will not go by time. So if you wanted to manifest something into your life in 2 minutes, it's not going to be possible, really, because the universe does not do time. It is just there. It is present. A little bit like saying, well, I am, and the universe is am. So you see, it is at one. And it's not going to go by any particular time, but it realizes that time moves. It is something that just passes by. Time is not an event as such to it, but it is just moving past. And when it comes into divinity of time, then the universe will attach itself to that divinity of time. It is a perfection of divinity of time. And then when something is going to be meant to be at that time, then it will come in when it is meant to be. So it knows when something is going to happen, when it is meant to be happening, most suitable for that happening, and it will come into play. So because your mind your consciousness is part of the universe, you are connected to that universe and it is connected to you. So it hears, it connects, and it resonates with what you are wanting. So it will bring it in. You see, so it is what you call mind abundance. It's coming into abundance. So if you wanted something in abundance, you could say, well, I am thirsty, I need water. You would walk around the corner, someone would say, well, I've got water here. That's what you call abundance.
Abundance.
Mind abundance. Ordering something, and you are saying to the universe, well, I wish I had that in my life. Do you truly want it in the first place? Are you going to be satisfied with it when you get it? And what are you going to do with it when you get bored with it? What are you going to want after that, and after that, and after that? You see, it's got to be something that you feel passionate about, that you truly want. And sometimes people will want to draw physical things into their lives, you see. Well, you may have to wait many years for that, or you may have it sooner than you think. So there's no perfect timing for it, but it may arrive in perfect timing in your mindset. You may say, well, that's just arrived in perfect time. I needed that. You see, everything is a sort of an abundance. So when you put your mind and connect it to the universe, you are being at one with yourself and that universe, because you are part of it. Then the two will come together and create the magic of bringing these things into your life. It doesn't mean to say that you're going to say, well, I want to win the lottery. Because if that is not meant to be, it won't happen. And if it's going to be something that on a larger scale, then it may take longer to put it together, you see. It's practicing with your mind. Your mind is an empowerment. It is the most powerful thing that you could have within you. It controls the whole of your being. It works the whole of your body. It is masterful, and it is beautiful at the same time. So if you tune in and practice connecting with that universe, you could bring things into your life that you truly wanted. But do you actually need them? Do you need them? Or do you just want them to look good for a time until they get old and you need to throw it away and have another one? But when you are passionate about something, a true awakening within or true joy within, that's the most satisfying thing that you could ever have.
Yep, I agree so wholeheartedly. Thank you for that, Johnathan. Michelle Clausen asks, is there a special reason why the Earth's frequency is so high today? And it's not just today. There are other days I know it goes up and down, and I'd like to know about that myself, yeah.
Yes. Do you mean in the way of hearing different noises, the frequencies of sound?
Like the Schumann resonance is 7.83 hertz, and I don't know what it is today, but I imagine it's higher. And I know today is 8.8, and I've heard it called like the Lion's Portal or the Gateway. Do you know something? If there's something special about the energy today?
I would say that sound can sometimes be silent. It can resonate with other sounds, but you can't always hear it audibly, you see. So you will experience it as not always as a sound, but as an energy. So you feel it within, or you have a sensation within, or you may have a vibration from within. But there are different sounds that some people can hear that is audible to their ears, but it isn't always audible to others' ears. But the earth has an energy that sometimes would make a sound if you had enough equipment that was able to pick up that audible sound that is not able to be heard by the ear itself. So there are a lot of energies and a lot of sounds that are resonating around your earth right now that you cannot even begin to hear or know about. And in outer space as well, you see, they have recorded these noises, these energies, these vibrations in the universe, and brought that back and let people hear it. So there are sounds out there that we see as silent, we cannot hear it, but they are there, they are present, it's recorded and played back. It is amazing what the world is doing right now. You are just sitting there listening to this, but what is going on within the earth? Who knows? But yes, there are different states of energies and sounds that humans are able to resonate with.
Thank you, Johnathan.
Does that answer her question? I am not a scientist.
That was a wonderful answer. It was awesome. Thank you. We have a great question. So William McGowan says, why is the year 2020 of great significance?
Well, you would put it as 220000, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But it is a very, very rounded off year, and it is a very, very new beginning. You are leaving behind the old and you are entering into the complete new. You see? And it's just, you would just look at it and say, well, it's another year. It's just another year, Johnathan. It's just a bigger number, that's all. But you know, it has a great meaning of spiritual awakening. Look up those numbers. It is part of the spiritual awakening. But the spiritual awakening is coming to your earth. It's not in the way of Jesus coming back to the earth and saying, well, here I am. He is awakening in all of you. And it's already present there, but you just haven't recognized it, and it's going to awaken in all of you. That is what is going to happen. So it's what's called enlightenment, awakening, and finding yourself, being in tune with yourself and the universe at all at once.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the whole new energy. That takes us into the next question, which I don't remember the author's name, but so forgive me for that. But the question is, did Jesus and Muhammad actually exist on this earth?
Oh, yes, they did, my dear. Jesus existed as Yeshua. And of course, Elaine never had any knowledge of that until I mentioned it. And he existed as Yeshua. He was a being that was of all empowerment and unconditional love. He was able to perform miracles. Yes, he was. I don't quite know about the walking on water, but maybe that would have happened. But what I would say to you is he used his mind and the universe. Mm-hmm. And he says, if you marry the heart and the mind together, you will create something wonderful. You are putting emotion and the mindset together, the I would say the pineal gland and the heart together in the way of love.
Okay.
And if you can learn to join those two and connect them as one, you will have complete awakening and enlightenment. And if you can learn to do that, you are emotion. You are emotion. You're nothing else but flesh, bone in the way of body, but you are emotion. Even souls are emotion. So you see, if you learn to connect these two, the heart and the mind together, and create it as an emotion, you will awaken. What you call it is a little bit like a Kundalini awakening, isn't it? Awakening. In so many ways that are possible to awaken yourself. Usually it is through experience, a spiritual experience. But you're all going to feel it. Whatever way that you feel it, you're going to feel it.
So, okay, so I have another question from Honey after this, but I really want to ask you. So I've heard people talk about, let me see, how do I phrase this? That some people are still going to remain in 3D and others are moving into 5D, and it's going to be like a different Earth, like a separate Earth. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about, referring to?
It's not necessarily 3D and 5D,
Okay.
because that is what you call a reality, you see. Everything is always going to be like a 3D, like a dimensional. You are dimensional, you're multi-dimensional, you see. You're not just 3D or 5D, you are absolutely multi-dimensional. And your mind and your pineal gland is a multi-dimensional being, which is that what you are. So there's no 3D and 5D. It's just you having a multi-dimensional mind that can tune into the universe, which is also multi-dimensional. So it's an empowerment of mind and using a part of the mind that you have never used before, because you are stuck in the ego state of mind. But the ego state of mind has to exist. It has to exist in order to experience empathy and emotion. It has to understand all of those.
Okay.
So it's not 3D and 5D, my dear. I hear so many people saying that, and you're not to understand. It is multidimensional. That is what you are, every human being.
Thank you. You mentioned the pineal gland many times, and I want to ask if there's any truth to this. Is there any truth to that fluoride can somehow block or calcify a pineal gland, or that's just bogus?
I think that it cannot calcify it. The pineal gland, or the pineal gland as I call it, but it is limitless, my dear. And it is what you feed into the mind, this is what you get back. Fluoride may affect the physical being, but it will never affect the spiritual being, not unless you allow it to, because the spiritual is eternal, and nothing can kill it. You cannot kill your connection to spirit, only if you decided to. If you didn't want it, you would block it off. But fluoride cannot do that to it, no.
Thank you very much. I'm asking Ardelia to type her question over there. And Honey has a question. Can Johnathan explain about ectoplasm? By the way, if I'm not trying to ignore anyone, I just don't see all the comments. There's 74 viewers here. A lot of comments are moving. And so I'm asking the ones that Spirit is bringing my attention to. All right.
Yes, when you've got ectoplasm, you've got a form of an energy that it can sometimes be seen in the physical. If you've got a physical medium, they will use much more ectoplasm than any other medium possible, because they will be required to utilize that ectoplasmic energy, which is developed by the medium and the spirits, and they can put that energy into some sort of physical form. They could form themselves looking as a human being, or a hand they can form out of ectoplasm. It is mostly used by the physical medium, you see, and the physical medium has a special makeup of this ectoplasmic energy in droves, shall we say, and they're able to supply so much of it that it can be utilized by spirit. And some mediums do not have enough ectoplasm present within in order for the spirits to make use of it. So you need to be born as a physical medium. But ectoplasmic energy is a spirit form of energy that is developed within the energy of the being that is the medium and the energy of spirit together. So they are developed. And it is a substance that is of ethereal substance, you see.
Thank you.
It is an ethereal completion of substance, of spirit energy and energy from that medium that is blended together and as a formation of being able to make it into a physical presence.
So a physical medium has to be born a physical medium?
Yes, they do, yes.
Okay. And you said that a physical medium uses more ectoplasm than other types of medium.
Much more, yes. Because you will get physical mediums that want direct voice. Well, in case of we are going to make a direct voice, we will form a voice box out of that ectoplasmic energy that is coming from the medium. You see, we will be able to utilize that as a voice box, and then we will be able to communicate through the voice box, and then it becomes as a physical sound within the room.
I understand. So not everybody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Carry on, my dear.
I'm going to say, so not everyone can do direct voice mediumship. Is that correct?
No. It is very rare. It is very rare. Yes.
It's awesome. I have a question from Michelle Figueroa. She said, why are there so many mental health issues in the world these days?
Well, I think a lot of your mindsets don't help, do they? You've got a lot of negativity out there. You've got influential information on your computer games and your internet, that you have thought influence, you see? And if you attach yourself to that thought influence that is negative, you're going to feel negative about things. So I would say a lot of these computer games. But when you're looking at mental illnesses, they are dwelling upon these negative thoughts, and they are beginning to bring themselves into a negative state. But also, a lot of these additives that they're putting into the food, and a lot of these hormonal-based things that are going into the food are affecting the mind state. Okay. So it is living a healthy, most natural diet that you can live, and there are so many fast foods and things on offer, and so many preservatives that go into them. They almost turn the food into a chemical-based thing that is put on your plate.
Okay, so that's
no longer the originality.
Really.
Pardon, my dear?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I just came out. I said, so that's not like just we're worrying about nothing. It really is happening.
Yes, it is, because you're not worrying about nothing. Because a lot of that, people that were having mental problems in my day, my dear, were locked in institutions. They weren't treated or they weren't taken care of. They were just seen as mad and locked away, which was a terrible thing.
Yeah.
They weren't talked about. They weren't put on the newspapers because we didn't have the televisions. But they weren't talked about. They were hidden away and seen as evil or mad, and they weren't treated. You see, so a lot of them were locked in these institutions. But these days, you have the help that you need. You've got your counselors, you've got your doctors. But you see, a lot of it can relate to diet in the beginning. And the influence of what a child sees, what it experiences, how it's going to remember that for the rest of its life, how it's going to hang on to it or let it go. There are emotional-based mental illnesses that come about, and there are food-based illnesses and syndromes that come from eating certain foods that they have an allergic reaction to. And sometimes the allergic reaction to is not always coming out of the skin. It is coming out in the way that they behave, you see. So if you were to give a person with a terrible temper certain foods, it would trigger their temper, you see. And if you were to take that out of their diet, you would see a difference in the mood. So it's studying what that person perhaps is ingesting and changing the diet and seeing the change. If you were to put 30 prisoners on an organic diet and then put the others on a fast food diet, look at the difference in those prisoners.
Wow.
I know I'm talking about prisoners, but if you were to do it to an ordinary group of people, say,
Sure.
and do the self-same thing, get a group of so many people, put them on an organic diet, get a group of people, put them on a fast food diet for a few days, see the difference in their behavior, see the difference in their mood. Well, there you go. Because the organic food hasn't been messed about with, the other food has got several different chemicals and preservatives in it to keep it fresh, keep it looking good, keep it looking appetizing, but really, it's just poison.
So, and what about, I've got to ask you this too, please. So what about now, because that's the food, that's what we ingest, as sustenance. But what about like what we listen to, what we see, our outside influences that we allow into our experience? Do you feel this can contribute to any kind of mental illness, or, what, I know you know where I'm going with this. I'm going to give it to you.
Well, everything that is an outside thing, an influence, is going to be absorbed into the mind.
Yeah.
And words that people say to you that may hurt your feelings, you may hold on to them, or you may play a computer game that has certain influences of violence upon it, and they may have build negativity within themselves. There are all sorts of outside influences and family influences sometimes. You've only got to say something to hurt somebody, they absorb it, you say it several times, they absorb it, they're going to hold on to that, and they're going to become perhaps depressed about it. And they may build hatred about it, you see, and that is half of the problem these days. There's so much negativity going on in your world and so much negative influence that you are going to absorb, that it is putting yourself into a positive state of mind, doing positive things, having positive influence in your life that will help you to think on a positive note and avoid so much of this mental illness, because a lot of it is a build-up of hatred or a build-up of emotional crippling that another has given to that person. So you need to watch what you say to people, you see, because when you say things, they absorb it.
What happened?
Say something nice to somebody.
Are we still live?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody can see me, but I can't see myself, and I can't see Johnathan.
Ah, well, maybe it is saying that we need to go now.
I think I'm going to have to end the broadcast. Let me see if I can reconnect the camera. Everything, and the power didn't go out, but everything just stopped.
It is time to go now.
I'm going to have to end